What's up, everyone? We've got some major MCU news that could change everything about how Marvel wraps up one of their biggest unresolved storylines. According to insider Jeff Snyder from the Hot Mic podcast, Marvel Studios might be eyeing Severance star TML Tilman to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror for one final appearance in the MCU. This rumor has massive implications for how Marvel deals with the Jonathan Majors controversy, the pivot to Doctor Doom, and whether we'll get any closure on the Kang storyline that was supposed to define the entire multiverse saga. Let's break down everything we know. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Jonathan Majors was positioned to be the next Thanos-level threat for the MCU, with Kang the Conqueror set to be the central villain of the entire multiverse saga. But everything changed on March 25th, 2023, when Majors was arrested on charges of assault, strangulation, and harassment, following an altercation with his girlfriend. The trial dominated headlines for months, and on December 18th, 2023, Majors was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment. Marvel Studios fired him that same day, with sources confirming that Majors learned about his termination from his legal team as he got into his car after sentencing. Eventually, his legal problems were settled and put behind him, and there were whispers that he might come back, but looks like the role at Marvel is all but done for Majors. The fallout from all of this was immediate and massive. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty was scrapped entirely, rebranded as Avengers: Doomsday, and Robert Downey Jr. was brought back, not as Iron Man, but as Doctor Doom. The entire trajectory of the MCU's next phase pivoted overnight because of one actor's personal choices. Now here's Marvel's conundrum. They spent years building up Kang as the next big bad. He Who Remains was the puppet master behind the sacred timeline, Kang the Conqueror was the villain of Quantumania, and Victor Timely had a major role in Loki Season 2. All of this setup across multiple projects, big screen and little, just stops. The beauty of Kang as a character is that he exists across infinite timelines with countless variants, which theoretically makes recasting easy. But Marvel chose a different path. They decided to pivot entirely to Doctor Doom and leave Kang's storyline unresolved. This created a massive narrative problem. What happens to all the Kang variants? What about the Council of Kangs? What about the multiverse-threatening events that were specifically tied to Kang's machinations? Marvel basically said, never mind 2 years of setup, leaving fans frustrated and storylines hanging. Don't get me wrong, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom is exciting, but it felt like Marvel was desperately course-correcting rather than following a planned narrative progression. It's like they threw away a nearly finished puzzle to start a completely different one. But now, here's where things get interesting, and the timing couldn't be better for a stunning breakout performance from a one-TML Tilman. According to Hollywood insider Jeff Snyder, Marvel might have found a way to close the Kang chapter properly. Speaking on the Hot Mic podcast, Snyder cautioned that fans should take this with a grain of salt, but he's heard that Marvel has a plan to say goodbye to Kang. The plan, according to Snyder, would be to bring Kang back for a small scene, possibly in Avengers: Doomsday, where RDJ's Doctor Doom would kill him, definitively ending the Kang threat and establishing Doom as the superior villain. It's a brilliant way to acknowledge the past while moving forward. And here's the bombshell. If Marvel moves forward with this plan, Snyder has heard that the actor they want for this final Kang appearance is Tilman from Apple TV's Severance. This would be a single scene, a brief but important moment to wrap up one of the MCU's biggest loose threads. This comes after other actors like Coleman Domingo explicitly declined to replace Majors, saying he didn't want to be cast as someone's replacement, and Michael B. Jordan publicly supported Majors during his legal troubles. For those who don't know TML Tilman, you're missing out on one of the most unsettling performances on television. As Seth Milchick in Apple TV's Severance, Tilman plays a corporate supervisor who's simultaneously charming and terrifying. The perfect embodiment of toxic workplace culture wrapped in a friendly smile. Think of him as the human face of institutional control and psychological manipulation. Milchick is a character who started as a minor role but became central to the show because Tilman's performance was so compelling. The showrunner said that Tilman read one line so perfectly that suddenly they knew this character was essential to the series. Tilman's preparation for Milchick was intense. He spent hours meditating, doing breathing exercises, and studying corporate behavior. He wanted to create someone who appeared calm on the surface, but had something sinister underneath, like a duck on water or an iceberg, where there's always more beneath than meets the eye. What makes Tilman's performance so unsettling is that it's grounded in reality. He worked in corporate America for over a decade before becoming an actor, drawing on real experiences with toxic bosses and workplace manipulation. He's described Milchick as an amalgamation of colleagues, of former bosses, and of caricatures of people he actually worked with. The response to Tilman's performance has been incredible. Fans describe being viscerally bothered by Milchick, with some saying they want to fight the character, but there's also this fascinating ambiguity. Viewers can't tell if he's purely evil or if there's something redeemable underneath. Here's why TML Tilman would be perfect for a final Kang appearance. The psychological complexity he brings to Milchick is exactly what Kang needs. Kang isn't just a physical threat, he's a master manipulator who spent lifetimes perfecting the art of control and conquest. Tilman's ability to be simultaneously charming and threatening, to make you question whether someone is friend or foe, would translate perfectly to Kang. The character needs that controlled menace, that sense that every word and gesture is calculated for maximum psychological impact. While Jonathan Majors brought a more theatrical, almost Shakespearean intensity to Kang, Tilman would bring something more subtle and perhaps more frightening, the banality of evil. His Kang wouldn't be a ranting conqueror, he'd be a quiet, methodical force who makes you feel uncomfortable just by existing. For a single scene where Kang gets definitively defeated by Dr. Doom, you need an actor who can convey the weight of this character's history and threat level in just a few minutes. Tilman has proven he can do more with a single line reading than many actors can do with entire monologues. Plus, Tilman's star is rising fast. Christopher McQuarrie was such a fan of his Severance performance that he cast him in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning without even an audition. This is an actor who's capturing attention from major filmmakers. Now, here's where things get really interesting when we think about what this casting could mean for both Tilman and the MCU. His performance as Milchick proves he can be more frightening with a smile and a gentle voice than most actors can be while screaming. That's exactly the energy Kang needs, not another mustache-twirling conqueror, but someone who makes you feel uncomfortable in ways you can't quite articulate. Instead of rushing to kill off Kang in one scene, give Tilman room to breathe. Let him establish his version of the character across multiple appearances. Maybe he's the Kang variant who's been watching all the others fail, learning from their mistakes. Maybe he's the one who finally figures out how to break the cycle that's trapped him across infinite timelines. The beauty of recasting Kang with someone like Tilman is that you can reinvent the character entirely. Majors played Kang as this larger-than-life, almost theatrical figure. Tilman could bring something completely different. A Kang who's learned that true power comes from being underestimated, from blending in until it's too late. And think about the dynamic between Tilman's Kang and RDJ's Dr. Doom. Instead of just having Doom immediately kill Kang, you could have this incredible chess match between two master manipulators. Doom with his technological supremacy and royal arrogance versus Kang with his temporal knowledge and infinite patience. Look, I understand Marvel's position. They need to move past the Jonathan Majors situation and establish Dr. Doom as the new big bad. But in their rush to course correct, they might be throwing away what could be one of their best casting decisions in years. TML Tilman is clearly a rising star. The fact that Christopher McQuarrie cast him in Mission Impossible based solely on his Severance performance shows that major filmmakers are taking notice. Marvel has a chance to get in early on what could be the next great villain actor. If this rumor is true, it represents smart storytelling from Marvel. Instead of pretending Kang never existed, they'd acknowledge the character's importance while definitively closing that chapter. Having Dr. Doom kill Kang would immediately establish Doom as a greater threat and give fans the closure they deserve. For Tilman, this could be a career-defining moment that extends far beyond a single scene, going from a breakout TV role to potentially becoming one of Marvel's premier villains would establish him as a major player in Hollywood. And if he nails it with proper development time, the MCU gains a villain who could rival Loki in terms of complexity and fan appreciation. Avengers Doomsday hits theaters May 1st, 2026, and if these rumors are true, we might finally get closure on the Kang storyline. What do you think about TML Tilman potentially replacing Jonathan Majors? Would you rather see him get just a quick send-off scene, or do you agree that Marvel should give him room to properly develop the character? And are you excited to see how Doctor Doom takes center stage? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you think Marvel should give Tilman more than just a cameo. Hit that like button if this analysis got you thinking, and subscribe for more MCU breakdowns and casting deep dives. Until next time, keep watching.